Hey, hello everybody. Thank you again for joining our Metaverse Roadshow, which is a series of online interviews with different investors, entrepreneurs around the world. So today we are very, very happy to have Harsh from EPNS. Hello, Harsh.
Hey, Ian. Really excited to be here. And hey, everyone.
Yes, me and Harsh, we met briefly also in person in Amsterdam in DevCon this year. So it was a really good event. And then we were meeting in the big hallway, right, of devconnect in Amsterdam with a lot of different builders, startups there. So how was your experiences in different, let's say, serum and devconnect events?
First of all, I think devconnect got people really excited because devcon didn't happen for 2 years and everyone wanted at least EF-based event. Secondly, the vibes were amazing. Like we started with hackers. We started EPNS during ETH Online Hackathon, Hackmoney 2020. So it's always good to return back and see the vibes. We usually, me and Richa, who are the founders, we usually stay back and usually do a all-nighter just because we love that energy. Like the energy is so pure. Everyone is just building or trying to come up with cool solutions to complex problems. And it was fun. Like it was fun being with hackers. As you said, there was this center place and everyone was crisscrossing each other over there. So that was really cool as well because it gives you a chance to meet people and to interact, even if for a brief while. So really had really fun over there, and now looking forward to DevCon.
Yeah, especially it's a very inspiring and interesting story that EPNS actually from the very beginning was born in like an event and through a hackathon, right? So can you tell us more like how you got into this idea and especially what is actually EPNS, and then if actually the initial idea got iterated into like a larger idea, or what has been the 2 years journey for you guys?
Got it. So what is EPNS? Well, EPNS stands for Ethereum Push Notification Service. The name is sort of a misnomer now because we are not just Ethereum. The vision is to be the de facto communication layer for Web3, which essentially means that the communication Lego blocks, no matter whether it's on Ethereum or on Bitcoin or anywhere else, or any other L2s, they are essentially getting powered by PNS. How we started? Well, because I was a mobile app and games entrepreneur 10 years back. So I think that was the start of the journey because at that point of time, Apple invented notification and changed the communication era across Web 2.2. Before then, we used to go back to our apps, and that really didn't work for scaling, right? So even like the Zoom call essentially would have not happened if I couldn't have gotten a notification on my email as well as my Google Calendar that, hey, I need to be there on the meeting, because you cannot remember all these things. Or basically Web2 has made us spoiled enough that we don't have to remember all these things. And when we were in, I mean, 9 years later, when we were going through a list of problems that hasn't been solved, one thing that stuck out to us was that this communication layer or communication primitive was not built for Web3. So like how in Twitter, you are communicating using Twitter usernames, how on WhatsApp, you are essentially communicating using WhatsApp usernames or WhatsApp numbers, which are WhatsApp numbers. And all of the communication is essentially driven by notification, emails, Venmo, PayPal payment, banking alerts, any delivery that we have, even WhatsApp, like when we are chatting, we are not chatting as much as we are chatting through notifications. So that was the aha moment. We realized that, okay, no one has really worked on notifications, and notifications are the primitive communication tool on which everything else can be built. like as I said, chat or video or something else. And that was when EPNS started. In essence, it's a decentralized protocol that allows smart contracts, that allows dApps, backends, or protocol to send communication directly to a wallet address. And this communication is then indexed and stored on our distributed or decentralized nodes, or soon to be decentralized nodes. And because it's open, so any crypto frontend can just tap in and share all the communication that are coming out for you, including notifications. So that's EPNS in a nutshell. I mean, we were lucky to have some really awesome support from the community and some of the very cool protocols. So we are essentially now empowering notification for Uniswap, for Aave, ENS, PYDX, Decentralized, the Graph, and a lot of other cool projects. But that's more them than us, because they were awesome to work with us and get to a point where Web3 UX and Web3 user experience can improve.
Fabulous. So we are kind of used to like, the so-called Web2 way of messaging, of receiving notifications, like information or useful news. What is, according to you, like the biggest difference between the Web3 way of messaging, socialize, and also receiving information around different kind of services, in terms of curation, but also in terms of, maybe privacy-wise, maybe I can have a personal preferences. How does it work in a Web3 way?
Got it. So Web3 way is very shared. Like if we have to look at it, when we are doing something on Facebook, we are doing through Facebook username. Facebook username has all the data associated with us and Facebook stored on the Facebook server. Same for Twitter, same for Google, whatever service you need. Web3 is very different in that approach because Web3 essentially says that you have a shared username. So if you're an Ethereum wallet, you'll use the same wallet probably to interact with Aave, then use it probably to interact with Uniswap, then go ahead and use it probably to get some NFTs, then probably go ahead and use it for Metaverse as well. So one really biggest distinction in non-technical term is the shared username. And shared username essentially then means that your data carries all around with you. So just like Ethereum blockchain data or any blockchain data, your data is yours, and frontend just provide you a capability of tapping into that data and interacting with it. Same thing with communication, like the data carries around with you, and that's why it's tied to your username. And this is a shared username, so it has much more possibility of becoming better because you as a user, you just have to go ahead and say that I want to get notifications from these protocols, and whoever has integrated the protocol basically benefits as a whole. So that's the main difference, like Web2 and Web3 username. There's of course, technically Web3 is decentralized and trustless, which we have seen to be a better way to go rather than being centralized and able to censor information out. So that's the more technical part of the thing. Yeah, I think I can think about these two differences for now.
Fabulous. So it's essentially also about how we think of things and how we think of the others, right? Are you also doing a lot of collaborations with different gaming projects and social projects and, let's say, Metaverse projects? And how does it work for this kind of more social kind of platform and services?
Got it. Love the segue. But yeah, I mean, yes, if you just think about, like, let's just start with the social. Like, what are we doing on social? Like, what is a general user doing on social? The general user basically needs to know like who followed them. Just an example of Twitter. Oh, and the general user needs to know like how my tweet is doing, or if I got enough likes or not, or if someone who I follow has tweeted out or not. All of these things they cannot go and search, right? So all of these things they basically need notification. So social is like one of the biggest way notifications are used. And one of the biggest things, like you take notification away from social, you don't have social. You basically have just an application that people might forget in the future because you're not providing them this useful hooks wherein they can return back and they can see. Social by definition stands for interactive, and without notification that doesn't work. Then let's come to gaming. Like gaming, a lot of games they are MMORPGs, or they are multiplayer at the very least, and that basically means that you need to interact with each other. And one very weird thing that happened in a metaverse project called Decentralized was that they decided to throw a party, and they threw a party in Decentraland, but they also had a Zoom call because they cannot interact with anyone on Decentraland, right? So you had this very broken experience where people were on Zoom call and then they were on Decentraland. There is no way to prove both the identities as well. If I am what I am on Zoom, I don't have to be that same person on Decentraland. And that was such a cool thing, but with such a broken experience. That also basically solved by communication. That is solved by notification and then with chat, which is, of course, what we are launching next, the chat Lego blocks for the entire Web3. But yeah, that in a sense is just it. Like metaverse or gaming, they cannot really thrive well until you have a ability to talk to the users of your metaverse land, or if you are able to talk to the users of your gaming. Like if you can tell them that this thing is happening or this thing is exciting, only then they will come back. It cannot be that you reach a peak level of your game, and then after that you rely on users to come back. Like users will forget. But that is one thing, like Web2 companies, they have figured out very, very well that user don't really have to care about these things. They just have to care about the experience inside your application or your game. They don't have to care about that. Okay, my favorite game is Minecraft, so I will just hop on wherever I want. If I don't hop on for some time, they will send me a notification out. And within Minecraft also, I think there is a communication tool. I'm not very sure because I haven't played Minecraft, but I'm very sure that there will be, because even the mobile games that I play, they usually focus on social and they usually focus on communication, because that also drives network effect. So I see communication to be a huge part in, especially in gaming, especially in metaverse, and especially in social.
Yeah, fantastic. So communication is definitely the next big thing. Not only communication, but also like the whole social scene, right? I saw that EPNS has been connecting to different channels of devs, including Proof of Humanity and also ENS. They actually are kind of the dots that connecting the whole metaverse scene, digital identity, but also how do people identify themselves and the others, and how do they spend their tokens and their money, and how do they socialize with each other. So outside of like what is EPNS, could you tell us also maybe your vision of how this whole metaverse social scene will work, maybe in the near future and also in the longer term, 5 to 10 years?
Got it. That's a very tricky question. Like 5 to 10 years, I want to go forward 5 to 10 years because I know like everyone who's saying anything, we will probably surpass over their expectation, and we'll have some really cool things. Like no one expected DeFi to come when it was 2017 or 2016, and yet DeFi came and took the world by storm. So very eager to look into 5 to 10 years down the line. How Metaverse will function? Well, again, it is just or how Metaverse will be adopted. Again, I think we are just at the beginning phase right now, where people are realizing that social and Metaverse and all of these things can be built around, but it will be built around the shared username of Web3. So it will be built around owning your data, and therefore going and doing meta experiences without, relying on any protocol or any other company to dictate what or what should not be possible. So I would say that this is where we are going to evolve really, really well. For now, like for example, we in real world, we own our ID cards, right? So in any ID card or any passport we have, everyone can have a look at it and they can determine like how well traveled we are. And then based on that, I mean, your visa application can be processed if you are coming from a different country. But also based on that, people can basically also tell like how well traveled you are or where you have been. So this shared data basically enables a lot of things. Like the shared data enables a person to carry on a game or carry on their RPG level somewhere across. The shared data also helps a person or the protocol to improve itself, because if they don't improve, something else might come in. It also basically does a lot of innovation, because if you have made like the next Twitter, that doesn't mean that now you capture the user data, and because of that, the user cannot move it. So you force the user to stay. Instead of that, it will become like you provide the users with incentives so they are staying back into your social media, and other social media can now experiment, and they can also take advantage of the growth that the other social media user did, because that growth basically is now directly related to the user. So if the user moves to other social media, they carry that growth with them, and they carry that stickiness with them. So in a way, like companies, especially open source companies, they rely on their community, or not in a way, actually, the only way is that open source companies, they rely on their community. And instead of thinking about features that can harm the community, open source companies, they think about features that will align themselves with the open source community. This also means that anyone can come and build on top of your protocol, and that also brings innovation. So this is what I really think, like because the data is shared and because the data goes with the user, it gives rise to a never before seen innovation pace. Anyone can come in as long as they have an internet connection and some decent computer. They can say that I can build a better social media, or I can build a better DeFi bank or anything else, and that's about it. They can go ahead and build it out, and that is innovation at its pure form, where the community basically, or that is actually democracy at its purest form, because the community decides what to go for, and the companies, they cannot do anything to prevent the community from deciding. So that's, I mean, that's very, very cool. And I see like in the short span, we'll go more into DAOs because that is the next reasonable step. And yeah, in 5 to 10 years, like I do think that we will probably be interacting with Web3 in all our day-to-day life.
That's an amazing share of vision. From your explanations, I also heard kind of your way of thinking as an entrepreneur, right? Web3 is really about like a public good. It's about allowing more people who want to learn, who want to build, to jump into the water and just to explore. So maybe you can also share with our audience who are also Web3 builders, maybe your journey and your challenges. Since now it's kind of a bear market, everybody says, oh, it's the perfect time for building. But of course, sometimes it's also about how you finance your team, right? So what's your take on, the last 2 years journey and your key learnings to share with the peer entrepreneurs?
Got it. So I also think it is a really great time for building, but I will just explain it with the example, guys. Like Uniswap and OpenSea, they were built during the bear market because, of course, you don't have a lot of cash flow, which means you have to get even more innovative in hacking your project out and growth hacking your protocol. It is tough. Like when we started, it was tough. We didn't, we were bootstrapped for almost 9 months or so. And I mean, the first ever grant that came, which came from Gitcoin GR7, because, we were the top 3 project over there in terms of contribution. But yeah, the first grant that came was after 9 months, and that was the first check-in after, living on not earning anything. So I kind of relate very, very well to the sentiment. It's very hard. I think the reason why I didn't leave or abandon the project was because we started tweeting about our project and started talking about our project and started asking for help from other Web3 builders and mentors and community. And the response we got was overwhelmingly supportive. Like, I love Ethereum for this matter. Like, Ethereum community, it doesn't matter if you're a community member, it doesn't matter if you're Vitalik. If you have a cool idea, people will genuinely try to help you out. And that's really what makes Ethereum stand out. Sorry. So, I mean, my learnings is, I had 3 learnings. Like the first learning was that start with a hackathon. We started with a hackathon and Hackmoney 2020. And what it does is basically whatever raw idea that we have, the hackathon is the best place to transform that raw idea because they have people who can help you out, point out to industry standards and guidelines. Other thing that happens in the hackathon is that because Web3 mentors come in to judge your project, sometimes if your project is good, it will stick out. For example, the first time we expressed our project idea out in a general public forum was Hackmoney 2020, and we got a reply from Stanley of Aave that this seems like a cool thing and he might use it. And that was motivation enough for me at that point of time to continue building. We got judged by Mariano Conti, who basically was the head of smart contract in MakerDAO. And 6 months later, he became like one of a really close friend and also one of the investors in the project. So a lot of cool things can happen to your project by just joining a hackathon. Second learning is like, I was very afraid to talk about my idea out to Twitter, out to community. In a sense, I thought that someone might steal the idea out. In due time, I realized like no one steals the idea out, and Web3 is very sharp in that. If someone steals the idea out, people just call them out. So nobody really wants to steal the idea out. Nobody wants to be called names and what it does is like when you share the ideas out, like your community gets excited about it, and you are not building this idea alone, but 10 people or 100 people, whoever are the early community members, they're building it together with you. So it really helps you propel. And the last advice is like from my learning, like be shameless in asking questions. Like when I started, took me 4 months to design the architecture and to invent this communication primitive. But believe it, it took me 10 days just to write an email to Ethereum Foundation because I was worried that the idea might be too stupid. Turned out it was not. And they basically helped us from the very, very start. But that is when we learned, like, be shameless in asking questions or telling that I don't know something. It's okay to say that. Like, I think I say that more often than not now, that I don't know how your protocol works or I don't get it. So can you please tell me or explain it to me? So yeah, I think those are the learnings. Like, these three learnings basically helped us get us to where we are right now.
Fabulous. Thank you so much for sharing. Indeed, it's like a very open-minded space, and especially like during other events, we already saw a lot of people very eager to share, but also to learn. Everybody is ready to collaborate. I think that's kind of what distinguish, the kind of let's say traditional entrepreneurship and the Web3 entrepreneurship, right? Because the space is so new that nobody can do it all, right? So everybody is collaborating, partnering, learning, sharing constantly. So let's hope that we can also like collaborate more, encourage more builders to come into the space to learn from your experiences, but also like a peer-to-peer learning, right? So thank you so much for other sharing. Do you have any other final updates of roadmap of this year to share with our audience?
Got it. Oh yeah. So guys, okay, I cannot share a lot of things out, but what I can share is like one of the most exciting thing that we are launching is chat. Like, now we've perfected and battle tested Web3 notifications, and now we are powering over 90 plus protocols on just Ethereum, including EPNS, Uniswap, Gitcoin, and a lot of other cool names that we took. But yeah, now that notification Lego block is done and protocol are using it to build on top, the next obvious step was going for chat, and that's what we are doing. Very excited about that. We are also going multi-chain, so very excited about that as well. Both of these will probably happen in the next few weeks. And the thing is, like, this is not the end of the roadmap. In fact, this is just the 25% or not even to around 15% of what we have in store for you guys, like in the coming days forward. So stick around. Sorry, I cannot say more. Marketing team is at it very hard to put this entire plan together, and I don't want to spoil it. And I have gotten better in not doing or giving out the spoilers. So yeah, but yeah, stay tuned. Follow us on EPNS Project on Twitter or check us out on EPNS.io for all the cool things that are coming your way.
Well, looking forward to the official announcement. It's a huge, right? A chat, also cross-chain chat. So yeah, yes. Fabulous. Looking forward to it, and all the best for the upcoming days of 2022. See you in the Metaverse next time.
See you in the Metaverse. I love that line. Bye for now.
Thank you.